we embrace our staff, so they embrace our clients, and I think that's what you see on the when I'm there. I it's one of my joys walking on a Friday and a Saturday and going to tables and actually talk to people and see, because now I get to the point that I see a lady that came with the kid when they were like 2 or 3 years old, but now the kid is 12, 13 and they excited to see me. Hey, Mr. Carlos.
Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Inside Hilton's Head. And today, I am very excited to welcome Chef Carlos Raba to the podcast. Chef Raba, a father, husband, and all-around family man, I'd say, and all-around friend. He is also a close friend to everyone who's a part of the podcast. He's a James Beard-nominated chef who co-owns Clavel, one of the top Mexican restaurants, not just in Baltimore, because you are local here in Baltimore, but across the U.S., I would say. I would hold Clavel up against any mezcalerita. Is that what you would say? Mezcalerita. Yeah. Or just restaurants that serves Mexican food across the board. One of the is also he owns it with one of our past podcast guests and also a friend, Lane Harlan. He has, and give me and help and definitely let me know if I'm wrong here. You have a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yeah.
Okay, and you have also founded Guardian Baltimore, where you teach, and the other instructors there teach underserved youth how to protect themselves, but also how to be more confident.
Yes, sir.
I love that. And he has recently, and you guys who, if you follow me, you know me, he has recently opened, and I'm going to destroy this, a new polleria. Okay, fine.
You almost got it.
Here in Baltimore, called Nana's. I'm a huge fan of Nana's. My family and I order there every Tuesday.
As you should.
You know, you got a good deal on Tuesdays. Get that whole chicken if you're not familiar.
I give a lot of love to the chicken.
Love Chef Carlos Raba. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Hilton. A good friend. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here, man.
Chef, I am so excited to have you here. We have been friends. At this point right now, we have been friends for 8 years. And I will say we are a few weeks past the anniversary 8 years ago where we met.
Yes, sir.
When we first met. I don't like to tell this story.
I didn't think you were going to mention that.
And I was ready I don't like to tell a story because it makes you the hero. And you love telling this story. In front of me and embarrassing me. But you know what? I'm going to tell it here because it's a special story, but it also talks about how special of an individual you are and the bond that we have created. Now, chime in where you see fit, because I know you
had a great
day. So it was
with some friends.
Some friends. So it was a summer, hot day in the summer of 16, 17. Some friends had all come together. Now this was
I remember because I was driving my FJ Cruiser, so it was like 16, 17. So I drove that day.
Clavel had just opened a year before this, I believe. I talked when Lane was on the podcast. I talked to her about how Fiona and I actually met or had our first date. But our first date at your restaurant. 7.
Yeah.
Table 7. Lucky number 7. But it was a special space for us. Sir. So when a mutual friend back then wanted to gather a good group of guys together, that's what it was. He was like, I'm going to call this a gathering of a good group of guys who all didn't really know each other. I didn't know you. I didn't know David or Jason or Aaron like that. And he was like, let's all get together and go to a restaurant, have dinner and hang out and talk. Building up Baltimore, bringing some like-minded individuals together.
Yeah, I was pretty new to the city too, and it was when we just opened.
How new?
I mean, I moved when we opened Clavel, so probably I was here for about less than a year.
So you didn't know many of the people in this group.
I didn't know a lot of people, and I was just working like 24/7 at the beginning.
Working 24/7, for sure, because Clavel was booming.
Yeah.
booming, still is today. But I mean, like then it was like everyone was talking about it. So I'm sure you were like, I don't know if I have time to go hang out with you guys, but I'm gonna make time.
Lucas was 7 months old.
Lucas is your son.
Lucas is my son. So everything was
a
new in
baby.
New City. Me and Claudia moved to the top of the restaurant, and then with a baby.
You were living on top of the restaurant with a newborn. So this individual wanted to get people together. Now you accepted this invite to get together with all these new people because you were new to town.
Yeah, because David was I was already hanging out with David.
David was like, "Hey man,
let's go to the restaurant and we're gonna have a good time."
You're like, he was like, "I don't know this Hilton guy.
Yeah,
I don't know this. Maybe he knew Ryan.
I was like, let's go. I was like, why no? Let's go. Let's enjoy it. Why
you
not?
You were like, why not make new friends? Now, if Fiona was here right now,
when I saw you, I was like, God damn, they make him decisive.
Then I told Fiona when we first met, I was like, well, I don't need more friends. I have enough friends. I'm not the type that wants to bring in more friends. But that situation, I realized that I decided to throw that script out the window to allow for myself to
it's great
to bring in more friends. Now, you brought up how you perceived me as an individual when you first saw me. You saw a tall figure, dude, as I am, and when
stylish, very
stylish. I mean, come
very
on.
stylish, and DJ too. DJ is like this cool guy coming in.
Okay, so those who don't know, Carlos is Chef Raba. Now, I just want to say,
no, that's fine.
Carlos is my friend first, so I will call him Carlos. But as a respect to you being on the podcast, you don't like Chef Raba?
I mean, I like Carlos. I mean, we
call you Los, Carlos.
Yeah.
All right. We'll bounce around on the episode. But those of you who know the podcast, know my team, he's calling DJ. When he says DJ, he's speaking of Ryan. Ryan is also the producer of the podcast and my content producer as well. Ryan is also a DJ, an actual DJ. His name is
all
a
around
DJ.
Stylish too, like you.
All around stylish dude. He's old.
Wait.
But he's
but good looking. Yeah.
He's good looking. He's a good looking old man. But yeah, so speaking of just meeting people the first time, when we were going to gather to go to this restaurant, we all decided to carpool, which is smart.
Yeah.
You know, good for the planet, all you folks out there. Carpool with new friends. And you were driving. You were one of the people who were driving. Someone else was driving a different car. So it was two sets of us, two different cars. And because I'm tall,
you were in the back.
No, I got in the front.
Oh, that is true.
I was in the shotgun position
and
in
David
your
was
car
back with DJ. Yes.
And the other folks some folks were in the back. Now, this is where my side of this story gets a little crazy, or just like, oh, okay, this is how this night is going to go. Now, I'm sitting next to you. You're driving. I just met you when I got into your car. Hey, I'm Hilton. You're Carlos. Blah 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 blah. You start driving. Now, I noticed as we're driving to this restaurant that you have a noticeable weird ear. Is that what you would call it?
Oh, yeah.
Your
ear.
right ear.
My right ear. My right ear.
Which is the ear that I can see as you are driving. For the first time meeting you, I look at your ear and I'll go, okay. This is a guy that if he wants to fight me, I'm going to tell him I'm cool. I don't want to fight you. But if someone else outside of this group wants to fight me, I know that you are going to
take care of business.
You're going to take care of business.
100%.
Now, those who I'm not sure if we are zooming in on Carlos's ear right now.
It's like a gremlin.
It's
a cauliflower.
It's
cauliflower.
It's a cauliflower.
It's called cauliflower because it looks like a flower of a cauliflower.
How does one?
How do you acquire
a cauliflower ear?
Years and years of pressure
on the ear. So is that like listening to music on tight?
I have it on my right ear because it's my dominant side. That's what I use to pin people, and that's what I use to when I shoot. I shoot with my right hand.
You're speaking a language that
talking about wrestling and also pinning somebody down. If I take somebody down, I'm gonna try to control you, pin you, and then submit you, or like just keep you under control. So this is the ear that I use. So this is the ear that I will try to flat you down to the ground, and I will be using this side of my head.
For sure.
So I'm a right-handed. I have some in the left, but I have 17 years of jiu-jitsu I developed, which is it's like a callus. It's trauma to the cartilage, and then he calls the cartilage, say, "Hey, I'm hurt. Send me calcium." He gets calcium, and then it just becomes a big lump.
Yes, a big lump. Yeah. It is a badge, I will say, of toughness.
It is funny because my nose is broken, as you can tell.
Oh yeah, if you zoom into his face, his nose is a bit bent too.
So my mom and my cousins like, man, please fix the nose, man. It's like Yeah. So it's
At
gonna
least
be
fix that.
If I fix the nose and I become like this prickly nose looking guy with an ugly ear and like my eyebrows are like cut too. It's like, no, it's gonna be like a Picasso. It's like, I don't want that. So I don't, that's why I'm like, I don't care.
You're like, let me show
it's years
that if you wanna get down with me, one of us.
I will run away, but if you reach me and I get tired, you're gonna be ready.
The thing is, you always say, you should see the other guy. That's the thing you probably always say, which makes sense. So when I saw that ear, I knew off top, I was going to be right next to you if something went down. You were the guy to go to. I'm not too familiar with cauliflower ears, but I played sports in high school. I didn't wrestle, but I knew kids who wrestled who had similar looking ears. But if you see a man, hey, this is a PSA to anybody who's out in the streets. You see an individual with a cauliflower ear, you might want to not start any types of shit. Right?
Or be ready for a good humble conversation.
A humble conversation like yourself. Because you're not, honestly, like knowing you, we'll get more into that, knowing you're not that type of individual.
I will never look for a confrontation.
Exactly. That is very true. So now, speaking of what you will look for. Now, we all went to this restaurant. It was hot. It was a hot day. Now, I'm going to just tell my side of the story because that's the only side of the story that I can really tell. It was hot. It was hot. It was a hot day in July. I don't think I consumed much water. I'm still working.
We had a lot of food too.
No, I didn't have much food either because where we went to a Chinese restaurant and we all complained about how the food wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. But we were also taking a few shots of, I believe, whiskey, bourbon that evening because the guys that we roll with were definitely bourbon connoisseurs. They love bourbon. So not only have I not drank much water, not only have I haven't consumed much food.
You were excited to be with me.
You're meeting new people.
Yeah.
You kind of want to get a little. You want to make sure you break down that barrier that might keep you from being as free and conversational and open-minded. Exactly. So you get a little liquid courage, as they say, right? So I was loosening up with a bit of the whiskey here and there with the fellas, and we left that restaurant, and we're back in the car. And now here's the thing I want people to know: I don't smoke. I don't smoke cigarettes, and at that point in my life, I rarely smoked at all any weed.
Oh, and
you,
I'm a smoker. I'm an everyday smoker. Yeah.
You probably smoked before you even got on onto the mic. Maybe, possibly.
Maybe not.
Me, not so much. So you pull out a pipe.
A little joint.
A little joint. And you're passing it around. Now, it's not like I didn't smoke at all.
No,
I was just like, I didn't smoke much.
Yeah, friendly puffs.
So friendly puffs. So, puff, pass is going around in the car.
Make it feel good to break down.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I was told, we were all heading to Clavel to really eat now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm someone who doesn't smoke to relax. I smoke more to get myself ready for some excitement in eating. So I'm like, we about to eat a big meal? Let's smoke. We're about to eat some cookies? You know what I'm saying? Let's smoke, make it more enjoyable. So I was like, sure, I'll take a hit. So I took a hit of whatever you passed around. And I don't know if anyone ever felt those, the moments where you're like, you take a puff of weed or whatever drug you love to do, and then you instantly go, no. I fucked up. Like, I did too much here. And it was literally like one puff. I did one puff, and I was like, oh no.
With the whiskey and with everything.
And whiskey, the fact that I haven't had much water. And now I'm just staring out the window. I'm just staring out the window like, please, just hold on, Hilton. So we get to Clavel. We're waiting for it. It was hot outside. We're waiting for a table, which I do want to say, I don't remember how long we were waiting. It felt like waiting for forever.
We only had the first building. So.
We only had the first building of Clavel. There was outside seating at this point. Obviously, it was the summertime. And I felt like we were waiting for way too long for the owner of the restaurant to be here and say, hey, I got my friends.
Everybody waits.
But everybody waits. I love that. Clavel doesn't take reservations. Everybody waits. And we're waiting around, and I'm like holding on to a parking meter because I'm like, I need something to hold my weight up.
Like the seating.
So everyone else in the group, the new friends, everyone's chatting, having a good time. And I'm just like, just hold on, Hilton. You're going to get through this. It'll all work. It'll work its way out. You'll get past it. You'll eat and you'll feel better. We finally get a table and we're all sitting there.
I was sitting next to you.
You were sitting next to me. Jason, I remember Jason Bass, shout out to the homie, was sitting across from me. Yeah. And I remember him saying to me, hey.
Are you all right?
Are you all right? And then I remember going, no. No. And the next thing I remember is I felt like the middle of the street, but I guess it's on the sidewalk. I am on my side, on the sidewalk, and you, sir, are right in front of my face, as close as you possibly be. You go, are you okay? You're good. I think you're fine. And I look down the road and I see Ryan, DJ, like
he was yellow.
He was yellow. He was freaking out. He was like, my friend's dead. My friend's dead. Which, I respect that, love him for it. But Creamy, David, was on. I see him on the phone with, I guess, the ambulance. Like, I think he's okay. I think he's all right. We might not need you. Okay. And everyone settles me back onto the bench. Yeah. And we're talking about what happened. And you say to me...
It came out of nowhere. It's like, I saw you said no, and then you just vanished. And I remember...
It just fell over.
Yeah, and I remember grabbing you, and then it was dead weight. So it was like, man, you're like 7 feet tall. You're like probably like 240 pushing dead weight. Yeah, I mean, I know it's like a fish. It's a 5-pound fish. It's like So boom. So I grab you, I put you down because you were like a little shaky. I was shaking. Like you were shaking. I was like, oh, either he is gonna go through a seizure that I have, that I dealt with some before because I was in the grocery business. In the grocery business, you have a lot of people that suffer seizures and they just drop and they teach you what to do. So put them on the side, make sure that they're not biting their tongue, make sure that you have something that you can put on their mouth and stuff like that. So it's like, and then just let them shake and they're going to come. And if they don't come, somebody call 911, but you're already the basics to get them through.
So you're working your way through these steps.
Yes.
And your first step, lay me down.
Lay you down, put you on the side.
What was the next step you
Make sure that your head is not like bumping and booming. I was like looking at you like, oh, poor little teddy bear. Just like, is he okay? So you were like,
what did you do, Carlos?
I put my finger in your mouth.
How dare you? How?
I didn't have a wallet. So I reach out for my wallet because I was going to put the wallet.
You were going to put your wallet in my mouth?
Because sometimes they bite because you're tensing up. Yeah. So they bite. So sometimes if you put your finger, they will bite your finger. Oh. Okay. And then, or like you put a wallet, like they bite the wallet. Sometimes they put a spoon so they don't bite and they don't choke in their tongue. You know what I'm saying? So they put something. So I put you in your side. He's a boom. So I was like, boom. When I knew that you weren't biting, I knew that you were going through something else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You were intensing and then you're like woke up and you look at me and you're like, oh, what is this, a dream? I was like, yes, baby. Yeah.
You were like, oh, I didn't need to put my fingers in your mouth. But you put your fingers in my mouth.
So thanks to this, Hilton Carter.
It was just your index finger? Just one finger?
Yeah. How many you want? You're like a mouth.
I don't want any fingers. No finger. I don't want any fingers in my mouth.
So yes, it was just this one. It was just like,
so 2 hours, maybe 3 after I first met you.
I have my hands in your mouth. I have my hands all over your mouth, boy.
And we've been close ever since.
We've been close friends ever since.
We've been close friends
and
ever since.
And it was weird because that year with Creamy, with David, this happened 3 to 4 times. Then me being in a place, we were in a concert in DC, girl in front of me, just drops out of nowhere. And I was there and I took her to backstage and then I gave her to the medics. And so I had for the first 3, 4, 5 minutes that she was going through the whole dilemma of like passing out and waking up and, hey, it's okay. Put you down, take you there. For sure. You're safe, go. And then we were at the market and a lady was with the son and she was like eating and she started feeling dizzy. Oh, and I was right next to her and she fell in my shoulder, dude. And
what?
Creamy was like, dude, what is going on?
You're a superhero, bro. Like, what is this? What is this? You said this knowledge. You were taught this at the grocery store?
I know, but I think life too, man. I have gone through a lot. I mean, as a child, I grew up with my mother.
Where'd you grow up?
I mean, in Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, which is the northern state. And my mom was a reporter. I came to the United States as a refugee for political asylum when I was 17. So my mom as a single mother, my dad murdered on the 80s through violence. My mom never married, but she was a journalist and she will take me anywhere. There was no such a thing. There was babysitting.
Yeah.
That where my aunts and my grandmother come. You know what I'm saying? They raised me with my mother, but she used to take me everywhere. She used to take me to political rallies. She used to take me to, I don't know, protests. She used to take me to interviews with high politicians. And I used to experience like
things like this sort of nature happening.
Yeah, violence. When I tell people like experience with violence, I was like 6 years old and I was seeing shootings because of where I grew up and the violence that they have in Sinaloa. So stuff like that. And then growing up, immigrating here, going through the ranges in the grocery store, and then being in charge of 150 employees. And then in DC with Whole Foods, we had a store that will see 500-700 people a day. Yeah. So you need to be ready for some crazy stuff in DC when it's like early 2000s. You know
for sure. So let's slow it down a bit. Let's go through it then. So you grew up in
Sinaloa. No, so I grew up. I was born in Mexico City. And then when my dad, he was murdered in a home invasion, and then my mom decided to move us after the murder.
You and who else?
My brother,
us?
Enrique, my brother. So I have an older brother.
Right?
So she decided to move those to the north of Mexico, Sinaloa, where she was born, and she had 4 sisters, and my grandmother, which she was a great support system.
So you had a lot of family members around you at that point in time. Yeah. So family to you has always mattered.
It's always, I grew up, I was always surrounded by family. We grew up on a compound with 5 houses, and each of the house, it was one of my cousins. So it was 5 houses with a pool, and a really big, huge garage. And we used to play soccer, baseball. We used to have the pool. We used to invite people in. So in the city, we were like kind of popular because people would come to our pool in the 90s. And it was these 5 houses. You will eat everywhere and we will barbecue all the time. So like if you go to Culiacan and you talk to people that know us, it's like, yeah, La Privada is like the private is like, it was where to go, where to chill. Yeah. We used to skateboard. And then my aunt used to build ramps. And we had a huge park in front of us. So it was just Dennis the Menace, man. It's like for like 10 years, like me and my cousin were like running like the wild boys. Like I'm not lying to you. Like I have a cousin, Juan Pablo, which he lived in the pool, man, for like 6 years, and he'll wake up on his trunks, go to sleep on his trunks, but he will be on the pool all day, man. So
so you grew up there. Mother was a reporter. She brought you here to the States and.
As a refugee.
And your brother?
My brother and I. As my mom progressed on her career, the more you know, the less you're liked. Yeah. The truth hurts. And more when you're in a country which yes, it's a democracy, but how much of a democracy is when the same political party ruled it for 70 years. Yeah. And you have a mother that will tell everything. The truth.
That's what their jobs are. Yeah.
You're talking about like stuff like she used to send me to the trash can of the house to get papers.
No.
Yeah. Carlos, go to the trash. Like before going to school, man. Yeah. What do you mean go to the trash? Yeah. There's a couple. There's an envelope with papers. Bring it to me. And I used to go and I bring it, and it was information that people used to draw for my mom.
For sure.
And my mom used to have a Sunday column, which it was the middle of the newspaper.
Okay.
And then the whole thing, it was hers, and she used to take her own pictures. She was like an OG. Wow. And she used to, remember, one of my memories, it was the house. It was okay to make noise Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because she was getting ready to write. Mm-hmm. But then Thursday and Friday, you cannot make noise because she was editing her own paper and writing it. And on Friday, you will hear the whole 8 hours, 9 hours.
Oh, what?
So it was her on the typewriter on her room, just typing away the story.
Yeah.
And she used to type it all Friday, all Saturday she used to do it. And then she used to drop it off on Saturday, 11 p.m. to be published. And they used to print the paper. So it was unedited. Yeah. So they didn't edit it.
Off the presses.
So she would like, boom, write fresh. And then on Sunday, the newspaper come. And then you could tell when like she wrote something heavy, the people used to come to the house. It's like, you wrote this. It's like, yeah, man.
Any like threats?
I mean, a lot of threats. My mom lived under threats, and then and that's why we came to the United States. I mean, develops. Everything develops. So it was a point that she said, "I don't feel safe," and she, my brother, and myself, we woke up one day, and Amnesty International was calling us, "Hey, your mom is asking for political asylum in Washington, D.C. You guys have to come. So they cross us over, and I have to leave everything.
Oh,
my
no.
aunts,
Wow.
my girlfriend, and you're never gonna come
Hold on, how old were you?
back."
How old were
I
you?
was 16.
16.
So I had to leave. I mean, I used to surf and skateboard every day. I took my skate bag with me here.
You can surf in DC, can't you?
No, but that's why I only took the skate. No, and we came, and first he was like, "Really? Are we moving?" And then, well, my mom also was going through some stuff. I mean, as she came, she's bipolar, schizophrenia.
Mhm.
So it's like those are sickness that they not just appear, that they have come through years. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So there were like some stuff too that it was kind of like what's going on with my mom.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So we came here, and me and my brother decided just, you know what? My mom made the sacrifice. Let's don't go back, and let's hustle. And we have hustled since.
You hustled ever since. You're still hustling today.
I still hustle. I like
still
the hustle.
And I love a good friend who hustles. I think it's a
good principle.
It's a good principle. I think it's why we have the strong friendship that we do, the bond that we do, because we respect each other's work ethic. I think the idea that you push through so much where you grew up and then end up in an area that has those same sort of flaws in some sort of sense, made you better prepared to live where you were going to live in the States, right? You could have moved to Iowa.
And I think it's one of the things that I tell people that I love about the city that we live in, that is Baltimore, is that it's a raw city, and there is some rawness into humans, into our living and our space and how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
So you want to show the pretty side of humanity, like your plants, a good environment, a good house. You have to see a little bit of the opposite, because you need both to have. You need ugliness to have beautiful stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's. I mean, there is no darkness if there's no light. Opposite, right? So everything matters, right? Pros, cons, all those different things. I think the one thing that I find very interesting about you is that you are so well-rounded in the sense that you have so many passions, it seems like to me, right? I just talked about how you have this black belt in jiu-jitsu. You are a renowned chef. You love anything that has to do with family, but it feels like the things you love that people might even call like hobbies, you make them almost like career goals, and you're sharing. Like,
I embrace them.
You embrace them, but the whole thing, I feel like above all, that I guess is the subtext of all of it, is that everything you do, that you have applied yourself in, you are giving back. You're serving individuals, whether it's at your restaurant or whether it's at Guardian, you are giving to individuals. Where does that come from?
That comes from the family. I grew up in a family that was very strong, tied together, and they were very supportive to each other, but they were givers. My grandmother was a giver. My grandmother, I grew up with her taking me to shelters, kids shelters, and her adopting kids, her giving always to the community. My grandfather, it wasn't my real grandfather, because my grandmother remarried, and she remarried my grandfather that passed away, but he was a doctor that gave free medicine and free consultations in a town, and I grew up seeing that. He was a politician, and my grandmother was a politician. They died poor because they gave everything. So he gave his profession, and was a doctor to be a politician, and also he married my grandmother. Just listen to this, man. He was like 32, a doctor, good looks, and then he meets this lady from Culiacan, Sinaloa, with 5 girls. And he marries her. Like, man, he's fucking crazy. It's like, dog, it's like,
hey, man, that's love, man. Love is crazy.
That's love. And I think it was like, my grandfather was one of the most patient, loving people that I ever known. And he was this short guy from Yucatan. He was a beautiful man. And that's why it's like always giving. When I came to the United States, we met the lawyer, Rebecca Story. A shout out to her, that she just opened her arms, and she was head of the law center in Georgetown. Yeah. And she just opened her house for me, my brother, and my mom. And it was the first step to to be where I have become or to where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I mean, through that is the good stories and the bad stories where everything makes you to where you are.
I love
who
that.
you are. Yeah.
I love that.
And we'll be right back after a break from our sponsor.
Balancing work and life can be really stressful, and finding ways to work through the stress is always a goal of mine. Of course, the process of nurturing plants helps me to slow down, take a breath, and bring in joy. But unfortunately, my plants aren't licensed therapists with expert advice. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp.com/Hilton. Clicking this link helps to support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. Starting this podcast was supposed to be a little extra therapy for me, getting the ideas in my head out. Good to know I can always use BetterHelp just in case Molly can't help me. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Hilton. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel.
Now, back to the show.
Man, I'm just so happy for you and the things that you've done, you and the partners that you've worked with for the city. I want to take a moment to give more praise. I've done it many times on this podcast, but more praise to Clavel. Clavel, again, holds a very special spot in my heart and my wife's heart. But also, I think many people in the city are just very appreciative of the work that you and Lane have done.
Yeah.
To help, I would say, not just Baltimore, but the area that it's in, right?
It's a community. I mean, it's the neighborhood. It's a community.
Yeah.
It's what we do. Mezcal, I think Mexican food and mezcal, we have put a high influence in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And not only in Baltimore, but I think in the state of Maryland too.
For sure. I mean, the bar was nominated twice, right? Dre nominated twice.
You have Dre there for like 10 years. I always tell him, like, dude, you're like a wizard. You're like a wizard of mezcal. He is, man. I mean, the way that he studies, the way that he's passionate about it.
And I would say, and that's not just you have an individual who is passionate about a thing, but because you Lane, see the passion that your employees have, you support it.
Yeah, support
it.
Right?
You guys take a trip
to the next level, you know what I'm saying? So creating a comfort zone, I think Lane is always very supportive of Dre, and that's why you see the trips. That's why you
tell me more about the trips. You guys take the team.
So they go there, the bar team, and some of the servers they get to go to Mexico, and then just to see how is the process of mezcal, the difference between the mezcal. Why do we put interest into the small batches of mezcal made by maestros instead of a batch that is not even know how it's made and how it's processed? Sure. You know what I'm saying? So it's a craft. Like we were talking about craft. So it's like something that you want to show and you want to play respect, and also having them telling the experience to the customer.
Yeah.
As a way of not gratitude, but as a guy that I do appreciate because I have seen it and I have seen it, how the process came, and I want to talk to you about it because it's a great spirit.
For sure. And I think the popularity of mezcal has grown over the last decade for sure. And having someone who has that sort of understanding, that background, that knowledge of that spirit is very important, especially when you guys are like taking the team to Mexico to experience it. That is great.
And on the food side, I mean, on the food side, it's a passion of gathering. I think that we both families have, Lane family, my family, and it's a passion of seeing people enjoy. I see people eating food and enjoying the meals that I grew up with. It gives me gratitude for what I've done, what I have become, and how I'm projecting it to people as a joy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's pretty cool seeing Lucas after jiu-jitsu saying, "Papa, I want a torta de cochinita." That's the same thing that I was saying to my aunts when I was his age. Hey, take me to have a torta cochinita after a soccer practice or something. So now having my son saying that after jiu-jitsu is like, fuck yeah. You're like a torta boy. It's like, yeah, walk there and order yourself. It's like, yeah, papa. It's like, I love tortas. So, I mean.
So that's a beautiful thing to think about, to understand that your child is excited to have the same foods that you had as a child, but you've also opened that window of your childhood up to us, to me, right? The menu at Clavel, that is based off of what? Foods that you experienced as a child?
Well, it's just, I mean, everything like, it's funny because right now I'm 41 now, and I see a different, I think now kitchens evolve. It's like a plant. You take care of it, and then you see the evolution of the plant to become a huge, beautiful plant like the ones that we have on the back here. So the same thing with the restaurants. I think Clavel and myself and Lane and Dre and the team, Siska, we have evolved in 10 years, and it shows. And it shows. I mean, there was going to be a decade like the one that we live with COVID, and that evolved us to what we are right now and the standards that we have. And kitchens and marinan is like you marinate them, you become a taste. The same thing that I seen that on Nana now. It's like it's become its own taste, and it's becoming its own plant. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You have to develop it. So I think it's that the team, how we I think empower people, and how we really embrace people. That we embrace our staff, so they embrace our clients. And I think that's what you see on the when I'm there. It's one of my joys walking on a Friday and a Saturday and going to tables and actually talk to people and see, because now I get to the point that I see a lady that came with the kid when they were like 2 or 3 years old, but now the kid is 12, 13 and they excited to see me. Hey, Mr. Carlos, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's like, what am I, Mr.?
You're like, Chef Raba. Chef Raba to you, young kid.
I mean, like, professor, please.
Professor Raba.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's a chapter. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a pretty cool. And more with the gym, it's even better. But
before we get into the gym, because we're going to tap into the gym, my question is, did you, I guess when you were having a conversation with Lane about creating this space for the city, did you see it being as successful as it has been? Did you know that out of the gate? Like, this is going to hit. It has to.
I came from a place that I was very well off too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I was looking for something else. And then with the drive of Lane and her drive for doing it together and doing the project, because it was for 2 weeks. She was calling me or texting me every day. I'm going to convince this guy to sell it. Or like the Craigslist post about Corky's, the corner spot. And she was going there every day, talking to the guy. And she was like, Carlos, next week, and nothing. Carlos, tomorrow, nothing. And then one day, okay, you got to quit tomorrow because I got the building. And stuff like that. And then it was like me and Claudia, and Claudia was like, you know what, Carlos, you're a great cook. You're a great leader. It was like, I trust you. Let's we were living on a house. Let's rent a house.
Yeah.
Let's say we had 2 cars. Let's sell 1 car. I sold my Mini Cooper.
Claudia is your wife.
Claudia is my wife.
And your partner.
And my partner, yeah. So she was like, you know what? I believe in you. Let's do it. And that's when we quit my job.
Mm-hmm. What was this job? What were you working?
I was running Whole Foods and Giant. I was in
running?
Giant.
You were the manager.
I was the manager on the O Street Giant. They just got renovated.
Okay.
So I had to put a stop into that. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm stressed, I'm leaving.
You went from managing a Giant, to co-owning one of the top.
But it didn't start like that. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. But
I'm going to tell you what it went to. I went from walking like huge, brand new $1 million stores, like with my coffee, saying hi to people, making everything look well and run well, and embracing people every morning too, to like me and Matthew, like tearing apart an old building, working 12 hours, making stools, because Like between us, we took it down, cleaned it. I called one of my aunts in Mexico, started cooking and everything from scratch. People used to come. I have a conversation with Chris from Union.
Yeah.
Like he was there on day one and he was like, dude, you guys are crazy. Like when I went there the first time, it was like, it is no way that you guys are going to open a restaurant. And here, because the neighborhood, you spoke about the neighborhood.
For sure.
It was scary.
Nothing
man.
was there.
I was living there. Remember?
Yeah.
I lived for a year and it was scary. I mean, there was times. I mean, I'm from Sinaloa. I'm from Culiacan, which is a lot of violence.
I'm from Baltimore. I never went to Remington.
But I'm saying it's different violence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it's different
sure.
when the riots came. It's like I never was so anxious. You know about the anxiety never happened to me. So it was a new feeling that I didn't know how to embrace and how to feel. So I was like, but little by little. I mean, you put a little grain and then it starts blooming. It's like
you put a seed in. Sow seed and you see the
Captain Planet tells you.
You see the goodness grow from there. And I think you've all planted a beautiful seed and you've seen that the nourishment develop. And like you said, it has bloomed into something that is just so beautiful and so great for the city, for that area. And for many of us, right? Like it is the one thing that my wife and I truly always run back to, not just for like anniversary, but just as like a spot that means a lot to us, and a lot of people feel that way. And you've given that to the city, but you also decided, and I want to hear more about this. You also decided to found the Baltimore side of Guardian Gym.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So Guardian Gym is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit that provides free jiu-jitsu. Okay. And also we provide free meals to kids. They are 6 to 17. And that came from my good friend, Ben Kovacs in California.
Okay.
He was working for Twitter and he was doing jiu-jitsu one time in the Bay Area. And he was speaking to a parent who was a lawyer and like, hey, your kids do jiu-jitsu? And the parent says, no, man, it's too expensive. You're like, whoa, you're a lawyer. What do you mean it's too expensive?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's going to be 180 per kid. So he couldn't afford it. It's a lot. It's like $1,000, 3-4 kids.
For sure.
So because jiu-jitsu has been a huge part of our life and it has helped us. I've been doing it for 16 years. He decided that he was going to quit his job and decided to found Guardian, which was a free gym in the Bay Area that will give free jiu-jitsu to kids. And he was running that he had his gym and he was running it for 5 years. Okay. But he was to the point that I want to take this globally. Yeah. So he closed the gym and now he has Guardian all over the world. I mean, we just started. Locations. Yeah. We started with, he has Ethiopia, LA, Seattle. He has New York, Connecticut. And this is, you can sponsor a kid to do jiu-jitsu in a gym, meaning that we pick a kid and we sponsor them and we sponsor a number of kids. I'm doing that in Sinaloa now. We have 10 kids in Culiacan training jiu-jitsu for free, but he doesn't have gyms. He goes into gyms and sponsor kids. Guardian Baltimore is an actual gym. It's an actual gym that we have next to Clavel, which I have 60 plus kids coming 5 days a week. And I have Locura, the coach, teaching them jiu-jitsu. So we teach kids from 6 to 17, 5 days a week, no cost to anybody, no questions asked. We just get the parents to sign the waiver let us choke them, let us throw them around. So but it's everything to the same thing that it goes into the passions that I have. Jiu-jitsu, I didn't have a family here, and most of my friends come from jiu-jitsu. I have friendships for 10, 15 years with like Ben, like Locura, that is just because of jiu-jitsu. Tell
me some things that jiu-jitsu has provided you beyond the idea that you can smack someone across the face.
I used to stab people in the face, man. I used to fight my cousins. I used to fight my brother.
Of course.
In high school, when I came here, I used to get in fights every day because it's high school and I was an immigrant from Mexico. So it teaches you to be aware. And to have awareness of where you at, how you feel.
Your surroundings.
Your surroundings is extremely important. And it's something that we don't do as much because our kids are isolated, right now. Isolated in the school, from the school to the house, to the scout, to the screen. We live on different environments. When we were kids, we will play outside.
Yeah.
And that makes you more exposed to
your surroundings.
To the surroundings and stuff that they're going to have to use. So we don't have that right now. So it's very important to give that. And I think jiu-jitsu provides that when somebody's trying to attack you, choke you, take you down, giving you an armbar. Awareness. Where am I? How am I breathing? Can I get out of this position? Yeah. The same thing of knowing your boundaries. I can teach the kids, and I tell them, you have to know distance. When you don't feel comfortable, if somebody comes, how personal close is too close? If somebody grabs you, you need to be aware of your personal space. I want my daughter to be sure when she goes and takes a picture with a guy, if the guy comes around and grabs it from the waist and she's not comfortable, to go on an underhook. You know what I'm saying? And lift the arm up. So telling him, hey, I'm not comfortable. You leave your arm there. And if he does it again, well, she can get a little more aggressive and say, hey, this is my room and you're going to respect my room. So you know what I'm saying? We teach kids how to swim, but we don't live in the water. Why don't teach our kids to live in an environment that is not friendly environment? We live in a society that, yes, it has its beauties, but also it has its challenges. And we have to get our youth trained for that. And youth is all we have. And I think as a city, and I think now as a nation, we do as a good of a job of getting our kids ready for our society with tasks. We are crafting and stuff like we did before. So that's why we have Guardian.
Guardian's great, man.
Thank you.
I need to come by and learn a few things, but I'm afraid that I'll be so good at it.
At 7'1", you probably
7'1", how dare you? But yeah, man, I just think it's such a beautiful thing. You and your wife Claudia are you both like the heads?
We are. I mean, Claudia does a lot of work. She's the one on the back. She has the list. We have a waiting list for kids. Please, people, come and see what we do. Donate, because we have 60 kids that we not only give them burritos from Clavel, okay, we give them geese, and we give them a safe environment. And a safe environment on a city like this is hard to come, okay? And they're hard to come, and also an environment that you have 2 clashes of classes, meaning that I can have somebody coming from the Remington, the low Remington, the Hamden, and have somebody from Gilman and stuff like that.
For sure.
Coming as kids together and play. That's very important, man.
It's very important.
It's part of building a community. And we have had, or we are doing that in Clavel, Guardian, laying with the other businesses. You know what I'm saying?
You've made that area, Remington glow in some sort of sense. You're bringing people to the area who, in most situations, would never step foot in Remington before. I mean, obviously, for those of us who live in the city or who frequent the city, understand the value of being around like-minded and unlike-minded individuals. You know, but I think if you're building those bridges, is so necessary and valuable for the city. And we, obviously all of us, your friends, know what you do and what you mean to the city. But I think for others, it's truly remarkable that there's individuals like yourself who want to continue to serve
for the
underserved.
It's their own interest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's for the own interest of your, I like I say, I'm going to repeat myself, but yes, own interest, not only my stuff, that what I'm doing is subsidizing the kids and subsidizing the community. It's like, come and have tacos, come and drink. And I mean, come and put your kids and teach them how to choke somebody and throw somebody around. And then,
but they won't get a cauliflower ear from jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, you get it.
From jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, that's where
there's a lot of being pinned on the mat.
Yeah, it's about grappling. Like, it's all about pinning somebody down.
I thought you were talking about just wrestling.
I mean, we wrestle. That's how you start. You start standing up. I take you down, and then I work my way into controlling you, taking your back, choking you, or going on a side control, grabbing your arm and breaking your arm.
Oh, this is okay.
So that's what I mean.
That's okay. I'm being reminded why I don't do it. I'm being, reminded why I don't do it with you, because I know you would try.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, I'm definitely going to try to break Hilton's arm today.
And I go back, man, and everything that I try to do is based on the things that I enjoy and things that I have put something in my life. Like when I talk about like Guardian Clavel, and now that I'm doing Nana, and right now is like, why? Why am I doing it? What was the purpose of Nana? And I go back to my notes, man. And I was like, I have notes of my mom rushing, like, what are we going to eat? What are we going to do? And she used to take me to a little kitchen that she used to get like 3 to 4 things together with meat. And we used to go eat. And I was like, man, we need stuff like that. It's like a place that you can go and like get, like you say on Tuesday, get a dinner for $25, $30 for 4 people. It's like, it should be a deal, and it should be a quality meal. It should be a meal that is made with respect, is made with craft, and it tastes good. And you sit down and you have a chill moment with your family,
for sure,
and you enjoy it. So it's the table is very important. You know what I'm saying? It's not only having a table in Clavel, but it's also having a good table in your house. You have to sit down and have dinners, and I think that's a beauty that I had as a child, and I want people to have too, man.
I love that you spoke about nanas. What does nana mean?
My nana was the mother of my grandmother, my great grandmother.
Your great grandmother.
So we used to call him Nana y Tata. Tata, it was my great grandfather.
Got it.
And mi Nana is as a picture of her. So she was the lady who like cooked a lot and taught my aunts and my grandmother how to cook. And we used to go to her house, and it always used to be food. So
again, family.
It's family. It goes back when you mentioned when we started the conversation that you were saying that I do things that I embrace, and
for sure.
And I try to embrace it is because I really enjoy them. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna become a multimillionaire or what I do, but I'm gonna become a happy person. And my kids probably look back and they say, man, Papa, are you okay? It's like, you know what? You okay on my book? So you know what?
Hey, that's all that matters.
Yeah. So right? I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying being a father because I didn't have a dad. So I'm enjoying being a dad and being present for them. I'm enjoying seeing what we do, what Claudia does and what I do. So it's part of the same thing, man. It's a chain. It's links connecting each other.
I love that. You have a lot on your plate. You do a lot. Physical labor, a lot of physical labor, whether when you're in the kitchen, whether you're on the mat, right? We talked a minute early in the pod about what you do to relax. One, maybe smoking weed. What other ways do you relax, or how do you get your body to relax?
Well, mental health is extremely important, and I'm talking about mental health from a background that my mom is, I told you, bipolar, schizophrenic. So I dealt with that when I was a child. And it's just awareness and knowing where you are mentally and knowing what you need. I mean, there are times that I don't need 6 beer a day, that I only need 1 or 1 every other day, but I need to be exercising twice a day because that's where I mentally are. And right now, as I get older too, embracing the things that you have. And I think right now, as I get older, I'm embracing more of a simple life, enjoying my kids, going home, having beers with a few, you know what I'm saying? With a few that count, with a few that embrace you.
When you say a few, I want people to say like friends you're talking about.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't enjoy going to a huge club or a huge bar. I said maybe you just enjoy going to Swallow the Hollow or like going to and have 1 beer, 2 beers, and then just go home and enjoy the kids at 8, 9 p.m. So it's
you're talking about like people that you're close to.
Yeah, people that you're close to. So I mean, knowing where to spend my energy and my time is very important to me. And making
that's wisdom that you gather as you get older.
I think so, and also being active. I have to be active. I have to do jiu-jitsu at least 3 to 4 times a week. I do yoga, the same thing. I go do core power yoga like 2, 3 times a week. And having that blast of energy in the mornings, it helps me going with a more aware day of meaning where I'm at, what I have done, and what I have accomplished too. So it makes me feel better at the end of the day and with less anxiety, because that's what I fight. I fight a lot of anxiety.
For sure. I love that, man. It's something that we talk about on the podcast a lot. Given that this is your first time, probably even you're not going to listen to this episode. And as I mentioned before we started, I'm sure you've never listened to any of the other episodes. Maybe listen to the one with Lane. I'm not sure. But we talk about, like you were talking about, not just mental health, but just the idea of wellness across the board,
Always.
right? And I talk about sleep a lot, and I've been on my, people use journey a lot in a society right now, but I've been on my sleep journey, trying to get better sleep. I have 2 kids. You have 2 kids. You have business after business that you're doing, as far as sleep goes, do you allow yourself to have that time? Because I know for a fact you're actually one of the only people I know that when I wake up, I can text and you might respond because you'll be up too.
Yeah, I'm a person now that I probably go to bed at 10 p.m., 9:30.
You wake up at 4?
And I wake up at 5, 6, and ready to go with the day.
Yeah.
Help Claudia with the kids. Claudia drops him off 7:30. So routines are very helpful. I talk to my kids. We make our kids do their beds every morning, have a routine, you know what I'm saying? Because little things add up and teach values, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I mean, routines, I wake up. I don't have problem with sleeping a lot. But yeah, the energy, spending the energy with the right task is very important. And then also right now, I was telling you, like I'm 41, and the last time that I went to therapy, I was probably 16, 14 before I came to the United States. And I started going to therapy again, which is strong, man. It's a strong having, it's like going and seeing a self, like tell somebody what are you doing, sure. self-awareness too, and like see where you at. So it's pretty cool as I'm getting older that I'm finding that and I'm trying to help myself.
That, I mean, helping yourself helps all the others around you, right? So I feel like that is something to be praised. And I mean, I'm not going to clap now, but I am clapping for you because that is it takes a brave soul to say, I need to put all of that stuff out so I can be better.
Yeah.
Right. Not many people decide to do therapy. I decided to start that process as well this year, just because I'm getting older. Also being a father.
It's not easy, man. It's like you going to somebody tell that like the troubles that you have. Yeah, I go and sit down with somebody like, what did you travel? Yeah, I see myself hiding from a shooting behind a car and seeing a hat falling that a guy got shot. Yeah, you don't want to leave those. It's a process that you have to see what's like what's going on. It's like what's
talk it out,
you?
and I'm sure that some of that, and I've mentioned this to Ryan as well. We've talked about it a lot, but that is also a form of therapy. I've used this podcast as a form of therapy, but also having moments where you're just chatting with your friends, right? When you're having those beers, I'm sure you're talking about life and unwinding. You're allowing yourself to open up and hopefully become better, stronger, not just for yourself, but for those that you love, right?
Yeah.
I think across the board, those who you surround yourself with, those who you've chosen to partner with, whether it's in the business ventures, but just in life. Shout out to your wife, Claudia.
Yep. What's up, babe?
You've made those around you in the city much better for the type of people you are. And I think me personally, thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Tell our audience, those who aren't familiar with where we can find you on social or on the web, where we can find all of the spots.
On Instagram, Yo Soy Bebeto, which is a nickname when I was a child. Of course, Guardian Baltimore. .org. Please help us out. We doing great things for kids.
Donate,
and come and see what the donations do. Nana Baltimore and Clavel. I mean, you can find
these are all on social as well.
Yeah, all on social, on Instagram. Come and find us. And more important, come and eat. Come and embrace Baltimore. Come and embrace the city. Come and have a taco or two. Come and do some jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Now you've done Nana's, Clavel, they've done multiple pop-ups here and there. Anything coming up down the road?
Man, I'm popping out on the markets. I'm marketing the Nana Tortilla.
Where's this?
Which is the 32nd Street Market.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be there on Saturdays. On the winter, I'm gonna be every Saturday.
Okay.
I'll also popping up in Café Los Sueños, doing breakfast burritos.
Nice. I just heard of this spot.
Yeah, and then I'm doing a cool October 6th. I'm gonna do Café de León pop up in Nana, where they're going to bring the pastries and they're going to be making chilaquiles. So that's a good one too. What else have we got going on? We're working with Alma, with Clavel, and making some killer dinner.
Idena.
Yeah. So, I mean, working with everybody, man. Embrace. This is something that I talk to the people in Alma. There is something about Baltimore we love, like Stevie, myself, Irena. We like
Shout
to working
out to
together.
Steve, bro. You're
Yeah,
shouting everyone
Stevie.
out. Ekiben. Yeah, man. I love that. You know what I love about you, Ekiben? I guess Irena from Alma is getting in the mix. Is the fact that you guys collaborate.
We enjoy cooking. I mean, me and Stevie come from similar backgrounds, and actually, it's one of my best friends, and we enjoy criticize each other and growing from each other. So I think as chef, like me and him has grown up together like a bunch.
I love that. I love what you said. I hate that you've never said that I was one of your best friends.
You know you are.
You jerk. You haven't invited me over for a beer.
You are, so I don't have to tell you something you know.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. I had to twist your wrists, arm bar you.
Thank you for having me.
Get you on the
You're going to
show.
have to put subtitles on it.
No, people understand what you're saying. People don't, I mean, look, they don't understand what I'm saying. But Chef Carlos Raba, Carlos, thank you for two things. Thank you for putting your fingers in my mouth. And thank you for being the amazing chef, creative, fighter, and friend.
Thank you, man. That really makes me feel good.
Appreciate it. Everyone, Chef Carlos Raba, find him on social, Guardian Baltimore, donate when you can, if you can. But if not, come by, spend time over at Guardian Baltimore in Remington and check out what they're doing and support however you can. Nanas, I'm hitting Nanas tonight, bro. I'm getting Nanas tonight.
Get your pollos, get your tacos. Come to Clavel, come to Nana, enjoy the city.
Do it.
Enjoy the Mexican food.
And also do the thing, push the button, follow, all those things.
Yes,
follow everyone, right?
Yo soy Bebeto.
But listen, follow the podcast. Make sure you leave some comments. If you've ever gone into any of the spots that Carlos Raba owns, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the spots. I mean, all of them have 5 stars. So,
and more important, take care of your plants.
Take care of your That's the most important thing about this podcast. Is I should be saying take care of your plants. Listen, if they don't already know to take care of their plants, I'm looking into my own camera here. There's nothing I can do to help you. All right, guys, have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Mr. Los.
Oh.
Balancing work and life can be really stressful, and finding ways to work through the stress is always a goal of mine. Of course, the process of nurturing plants helps me to slow down, take a breath, and bring in joy. But unfortunately, my plants aren't licensed therapists with expert advice. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp.com/Hilton. Clicking this link helps to support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. Starting this podcast was supposed to be a little extra therapy for me, getting the ideas in my head out. Good to know I can always use BetterHelp just in case Molly can't help me. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Hilton. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel.